Most importantly, and most obviously, there is a duty to protect and safeguard children and adults who may be vulnerable to abuse today. I would ask others to be mindful that when investigators received these allegations of child sexual abuse, the investigation team did not know what it did not know. It did not know the circumstances. It did not know the veracity, the risks, the implications, or other vulnerability factors. Until a proportionate, professional, and objective investigation was conducted, it would be impossible to identify and safeguard children and other vulnerable adults who may be at risk today. The safeguarding and protection of vulnerable people will continue to be our primary reason for conducting this investigation, and my team has not been diverted from this legal and professional responsibility. Children or adults who allege that they are being abused or have been abused must have the trust and confidence in the police. They deserve to be listened to. They deserve to know that they will be taken seriously. They deserve to know the police will support them, and they deserve to know that their anonymity will be preserved. That is what I said we would do, that is what we have done, and that is what we will continue to do without fear or favour. There has been many views expressed as to whether the police should investigate alleged offences committed by deceased people. Notwithstanding the guidance, I believe this was the right thing to do. It was the right moral, ethical and professional thing to do. But I appreciate that every case needs to be judged on its own merits. I am satisfied there are compelling and obvious reasons to investigate allegations made against Sir Edward Heath. As I have said, Sir Edward Heath was an extremely prominent, influential and high-profile person who was arguably one of the most powerful people in the world, commensurate with the public office and political office he held. The allegations against him were of the utmost seriousness and from a significant number of people. I hope people will understand that given these circumstances, it would be an indefensible dereliction of a Chief Constable's duty not to have investigated the allegations against a former Prime Minister, even though he is deceased. This report does not apportion guilt. It does not suggest or conclude guilt, and no inference should be taken from the investigative decisions or conclusions being made by the police. Extreme caution has been given so that no assumptions are publicly drawn about truths or untruths. The presumption of innocence is enshrined in our law, and it is the cornerstone of a just and fair process, judicial process. Despite misleading and inaccurate commentary, nobody from this investigation team or I have made any public or private comment or inference as to the hypothetical outcome of a judicial process if Sir Edward Heath were alive. Any such comments or hypotheses would be flawed by their very nature. They are misleading and they distort the criminal justice process. During the last 2 years, there has been much commentary in relation to the potential for a judge-led review into Operation Conifer. At this time, I have heard no compelling reasons for such a review, and therefore I am not persuaded to follow this course of action. As I have said, I am clear that it is not the role of the police to judge the guilt or innocence of people, and it is obvious that at the end of this investigation concerning a deceased suspect, there is no potential for a criminal trial. Most of the elements of the criminal justice process are absent. It is my view the suggestion that a retired judge or other judicial appointment could legitimately pronounce the guilt or innocence of Sir Edward Heath is ill-conceived. I believe this would neither provide value for money or indeed a legitimate outcome of the guilt or innocence of Sir Edward Heath.